No, you're not seeing things. We are live here for round two tonight on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, and the platform that our guest and the company he represents, the IMF, most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio, to the tune of nearly 1,400 subscribers. And after all, it's the platform that our guest and the IMF most certainly helped get us to those watershed historic moments of having Rhino and Savio Vega here in the span of 15 days. And our guest actually is a part of also another watershed historic moment because coming up here, as a matter of fact, coming up here 1 month from today in the Palo Community Center, the IMF Wrestling's latest show, we're going to see a DBW and a VTW wrestler wrestle an IMF wrestler, something that's never seen and never thought would be seen. It's finally going to happen. And we're going to get a chance to see that. Our guest is going to talk about that. Our guest is also going to talk about his historic victory, you might want to say, that might lead to some championship gold against one Nicholas Crenson, the RCW champion, after pinning the RCW champion and also maybe getting a little bit of redemption against his tag team partner, Tyler Fury. Yeah, they don't need to be furious anymore because our guest is the one that's going to be furiously changing the underground wrestling circuit come February 22nd. And did I hear that he wants championship gold after his victory over the devil, Nicholas Crenson? Well, the devil looks like he's going to have a lot of work on his hands, especially if Thomas McEntee gets his way. And boy, what a show do we have in store here. These stories certainly write themselves, and what a night it's been on Sportswire Radio already. What a last couple of weeks it's been, and there's even more coming in the next few days. I'll leave that at that for those that'll figure out themselves. But since our guest hasn't been here in several months, it is time to give him that introduction that he's been waiting for, you've been waiting for, and I've been waiting to give him. And maybe it's going to be the introduction that he should really get at the Palo Community Center coming up in 28 days from now, when his career, and frankly, this platform and this circuit is going to forever change when we finally have that watershed moment that people have been wanting for more than 18 months. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get this show on the road and get to round two and introduce our guest here on the platform that he and the IMF most certainly helped build, and the platform that he and the IMF most certainly led to us having those historic moments, as I stated, with Rhino the War Machine and Savio Vega. So let's get to it on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. So with that, wait for further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one, Cable Sports Show. The man, the myth, the wrestler that is about to change the wrestling circuit as we know it. His name is simply put Thomas My friend, how are we doing?
Doing real good. Feel real good after that victory from Crenson. You and that was an amazing introduction, like always. Really happy to be here tonight on Sportswire Radio, and I'm ready to hit it off with some questions and just show you my motives here,
It's great to have you. And I know we spoke several months ago and we got a chance to know you a little bit. We were talking about you and Tyler Fury and getting opportunities maybe to win some tag team titles, but that's obviously in the past. It's water under the bridge, and you're basically on the cusp of history. And boy, I mean, you even want gold to go into that historic match. And I spoke about it a little while ago with my guest Joe Starr, and it's almost kind of like a WWF wrestler and a WCW wrestler wrestling in a ring. I compared it almost in a way to when Mike Awesome, who was then the ECW champion, had signed with WCW, was to wrestle Taz, who was a WWF wrestler, for the ECW championship in an ECW ring. And it's almost kind of like that in a way. DBW, VTW, and the IMF, obviously it's well documented, some of that history, but that history is thankfully water under the bridge, and you're a part of that history. You're going to wrestle a guy in the Blaze, Ace Christian, who's the VTW world champion, and you might even want gold going into that match. I'll talk about that in a little while. But for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio, the platform that you and the IMF most certainly helped build, which has led us to those magical moments that we've had with two of the very greatest who have ever stepped foot in a ring, in Rhino and Savio Vega. But Thomas McEntee, talk about the huge victory that you just had at New Year's Vengeance against your old tag team partner, Tyler Fury, in pinning the reigning defending RCW World Heavyweight Champion, Nicholas Crenson.
Well, I tell you what, it was an amazing opportunity to be able to get revenge after what Tyler did to me, ghosting me, making my life a living hell.
Winter Clash, walked out on you.
He walked out. And then, not to mention, Crenson dropping me on my head during Winter Clash and just stomping the living hell out of me. It just felt so good to get my comeuppance on that. I feel like it's about time that I show people what I'm truly made of. I don't need no tag team. I don't need no factions. I don't need that. What I do need is a proper way to get into the title scene, and I think that's just the way to do it, was beating Crenson. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat him every single time. Every single time. Because he thinks he's in my head, but I'm really in his head.
Interesting that you said that, in that you're in Nicholas Crenson's head. You're in his head, and maybe I buy that argument now, Thomas McEntee, because you pinned Nicholas Crenson. You pinned him, and you took the title, you looked at it, and you said that you want the RCW championship. And Nicholas Crenson's a guy that's had, an interesting history, a guy that's been around the block, but you're the guy that, as a matter of fact, might be in his head. And I think that's a fascinating statement, and I might be inclined to agree with you, because you actually just pinned Nicholas Crenson.
Could you repeat that? We kind of cut out there.
Yeah, I said, so you might actually be in his head because you just pinned him. You just pinned Nicholas Crenson, so you might be right in that you're in his head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the main reason, number one, I decided on my own free will to attack him after the match was very flat out simple. It wasn't because I'm angry. It wasn't because I'm mad at people. It wasn't because of any of that. The main reason why was because he did it to me that last show, and I wanted to get some revenge afterwards. There was no foul intent, but there was intent to show that I want that belt.
I want to ask you this, because it's been a difficult last several months for you. I had you on the first time. We were speaking about trying to win tag team belts in the IMF. Obviously, that didn't work out. The Midwest Express have just been unbelievable. Now they're in the House of Wolves, and what they've done, regardless of what you think of them, has been absolutely historic in itself. I mean, I think when we look back, whatever that time might be, we're going to look at the Midwest Express as one of the greatest tag teams, mark my words, of this generation. I'm going to put that out there. What they've done in this circuit, the Midwest Express, Jordan Nets and Jason Myers, pound for pound, and I'll put anybody up to it and go toe-to-toe with it. They are one of the greatest teams of this generation for what they've done in our circuit. But you came up short there. You had your issues with Tyler Fury. You had your issues with Crenson. Do you feel like now that you're about to get some redemption and finally be where you are? Because, you talked about you were in this tag team for a while, Tyler Fury, this trampoliner, trying to figure out, basically how to get off the training wheels. Looks like he still might be in junior high school. I love Tyler, but that's the perceived look on him. He's, like the rest of some of these guys that come on here, and he's still fighting, but you've been around. You've been around the game a while, and maybe this is right where you need to be finally.
I couldn't agree more with you there. I mean, when I was with Tyler, if you can recall, all the matches that I had with Tyler in my corner, I wasn't the one falling short. It was him. Tyler. Yeah. Yep. And even if I was the one on the ground not breaking up that pin, you would think that he would have enough drive to kick himself out, right? You would think so. But Tyler, at the end of the day, he's just a trampoliner. That's it. That's all he is. He's a trampoliner, and he doesn't know what he's doing here in IMF, in my opinion.
No, and this is the IMF. This is not like you're going to some, kiddie poo company or an amusement park, and hey, I'm going to go and play on a few rides. I'm going to play with my friends and have some fun. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to put that out there. There is nothing wrong with being on a trampoline and having fun and just doing it for that. This is the IMF. This is a company that sells tickets. This is a company that goes out there and they're putting butts in the seats, and Tyler might not be ready for that. That's okay. And you've shown that it was Tyler that was kind of holding the bag for the team, and you're the guy, really. And you've been in this game a while. You've been somebody that's been in this circuit. You've been around, and maybe it was Tyler that was holding you down all this time. And like I said, this is where you need to be.
Yeah, it feels great to be apart from Tyler. And that way I could connect with the fans in a more just better way, in my opinion. Because I could connect with those guys better because I had Tyler in my corner, and I just felt like he was a loose cannon to begin with. He didn't want what was best for the team. What he wanted was a win for himself. That's all he ever wanted. He had
other things on his plate. He had this whole war with WCE, this trampoline versus other wrestlers, which, again, I'm not getting into it. I wish everybody, have fun, have a great time. But he might have had other things on his mind and not the tag team success the Furious Tees. And that's why it kind of ended the way it did, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he came in there thinking it was going to be a walk in the park, but really it was a marathon. That's what this is. That's what IMF is. It's a marathon. You got to keep going, you got to hold strong, and it's hard. It's hard for people to do that. Trust me. Believe me, I haven't been in IMF that long, and I still think it's hard. I don't know what's going to bring in the future. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm not going to ever give up on the fans, on myself, or anybody else that cares about me and cares about the sport of IMF.
Love it. Love it. And I do want to get to the chat in a little while. I'm going to put your match up here. I'll put it up for a little bit because I know we're having some video issues with you, so I don't want to kill your video lag a bit. But let me ask you, though, do you have any regrets on being in a tag team with Tyler Fury?
Regrets? Not really. I think it showed Tyler a lesson on how to be in the leagues of that where he is. He wanted to learn how to be a wrestler, but he came into there thinking that it was a cakewalk, like I said. So I think it showed Tyler that it's not just a walk in the park. No. It showed him that there's plenty of bigger fish in the that could take Tyler on.
Yeah, no, I agree completely, and it's definitely the IMF is basically the big leagues of the underground wrestling circuit, and there's no question that Tyler's got his work cut out for him. We'll certainly get into that. I'll try to put some of the matchup because I know you're having some video issues here, so let me put it up here for the audience. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I know everybody's here in the chat. I want to say hello to a new face or two. I want to give them a nice big shout out. I appreciate you for tuning in. So let's go. Put it up here. Let me see if I can still keep you up on the screen. I think I can. So let's go like this. Let's go like that. All right. So we'll talk about it here. If you can see the match, talk to me about what you see, and just maybe feeling good about that. You're getting some offense here on Mr. Tyler Fury.
Oh, I felt really good about it. It's like a brother and brother thing. Like when they think they're too good for you, and then you show them that you're still there, you're still in that picture, and they think they're the top dog, and you go in there and you show them what you got. It feels so good. But when he got the upper hand on me, he did get the upper hand on me. I'm never ever gonna deny that he got me for a while, but I was never gonna stay down for him. And we can all go to show that Crenson is just a coward that wanted to stay on the outside and didn't want to get his hands dirty with the competition in the ring.
But he's a veteran. Wouldn't you expect that the veteran would do that, especially in a triple threat match?
Oh, yeah. I expect nothing less from Crenson. But going after my left leg was a very smart idea and calculated idea. Because, I hit my famous McEntee kick. And with that left leg out of commission, I can't plant my foot properly to even get up there for a McEntee kick. He was being very, very smart.
Well, he's a veteran, though. That's what the veterans do. You know that. I mean, you're training with Levi. I mean, Levi's been with the very greatest ever, and Hulk Hogan, and just to name one name. I mean, but Nicholas is going to do that. He's the RCW champion for a reason.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree with you there. But what I think is his downfall is that he got too comfortable up there. We got a
commercial to go through. So yeah, well,
we're gonna commercial interruption.
We have to go through. Well, it's good for business in the IMF. I mean, right? We should watch the ad through because it obviously helps. Oh, yeah. Trust me, when you get the subs, actually, it helps you with the watch hour. So we'll spit through the commercial. Let's just say it was good for business. But we're going back to the match here.
Oh yeah.
And Crenton's working on you a little bit, and Tyler's on the outside, and Crenton's showing. He got you. That was a good move there by Crenson. Crenson showing his, veteran offense there. And Tyler comes out, and Tyler bounced off from the outside like a trampoline. No, we're only kidding, but we love the guys in STBW. But Tyler here right now is, he's definitely angry, and he's definitely, trying to stomp a mud hole on Nicholas Crenson, which then leads him to go back on.
You can feel Tyler like he was using too much of his aggression out, and he gassed himself early. In my
opinion, right? And that's the experience that Tyler has. Whereas Nicholas, would at least have the mindset, like we saw earlier in the match, to wait from the outside and wait for his time to come back in the match, right?
Oh, really smart, and I'll never ever disagree with that. That's a smart thing to do. Stay on the outside, but. Is it the humane thing to do? No. I think you should stay in the ring and fight. But, that's just me. But, I mean, Crenson, even though I give him a whole bunch of shit and I want to take his belt, he's a very, very calculated wrestler. And I love that about him in a way, In a way, yeah.
And that hurt, by the way, what I just saw there. You the shot there was that your neck that
he planted me down with that DDT on the apron.
Yeah, well, that hurt. That definitely hurt. Kids don't try this at home.
Oh no. Don't try this at home. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely don't do that here. But Tyler's picking up where Nicholas left off, and he's going up on the top rope, and you're in a difficult spot here. Talk about what's going through your mind right now here in the match, because right now it's basically a 2-on-1 attack you're dealing with.
Literally, the only thing that was going through my head at that moment was just make sure you get the shoulder up. That was it. That was the one thing going through my head, so I could keep myself straight. Was like, I got to keep that shoulder up no matter what. And as soon as I got up and got my bearings back, I knew what I had to do. And I ran at him as fast as I could to nail him with some knees.
Yeah, that was a good move there. You got some good offense. We're here with Thomas McEntee, and we're watching Thomas McEntee, Tyler Fury, and the RCW champion Nicholas Crenson in a triple threat match at the historic IMF's most recent show, New Year's Vengeance, and they're on the road to their next show coming up here 28 days from now, called The King of Palo, and that'll take place in the Palo Community Center. And if you'd like to check out the IMF, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, TikTok. They're most active on YouTube and Facebook, and they have a merchandise store, which is IMF Wrestling at Big Cartel. I'm going to buy a shirt later this week, and I hope you join me in supporting them. They've been really one of our biggest champions, and we want to thank them. They certainly have helped us get to those historical moments with Rhino and Savio Vega. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. And we're here with Mr. McEntee. And boy, that was some furious T-like offense there. Almost like old times.
Literally. And the funnest thing about that, and the funniest thing that people don't realize, is that move was the only tag move me and Tyler have ever hit.
Well, that's why you guys aren't a tag team anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm surprised Tyler just went along with it, to be honest with you. I mean, the way that he was going out there, I really thought he was just going to super kick him once and get me, Well,
you know what? You both don't like Nicholas Crenson, so that's sometimes,
that is the case, yes.
Sometimes, you my enemy is your enemy, and we become friends for a moment kind of deal. But, obviously the veterans down, and you both are to the outside. And we see now that the veterans in an uncomfortable spot. And
there's Tyler's issue. There's Tyler's issue. He went in way too quick. He should have recovered a little longer. And he gassed himself.
Why? Tell the audience why.
Well, you see, he's gassing himself out too quick. If he keeps going in there and doing those running moves like he's doing, he's just going to keep gassing himself. And right there, you see that? He slipped up one time and he got hit right in the nuts.
That was, I'm glad that we didn't say it that way, because it was we had Yoshi Matsuda on, and he wrestles a match and they said a certain word that it is, and we don't want to say that on this platform. But obviously that's what happened to Tyler, and Tyler's definitely down, and he's not bouncing right back up like he was.
Here we go. Boom.
I tell you what, one of the best around. That kick definitely, I felt it from here in Staten Island. But obviously, Mr. Crenson is he's actually inexperienced himself, Mr. Crenson, because he's picking up Tyler, and you're right behind him.
Yeah, he just let me right behind. I don't understand.
You know what, Mr. Crenson, that's on him. That's Mr. Mr. Crenson.
Well, and, knowing Crenson, he's gonna be like, "Oh, that was just me getting."
And there it goes, boy. James Taylor. Don't show James Taylor, and don't show him that. Don't show him what you just did. But yeah, and well, Crenson's definitely down, and boy, Crenson. I mean, you can look at that. Look at that. Oh, listen, Soldier and James Taylor, they're not gonna be happy with this. But you know what? We'll obviously see, and hopefully it helps you in this match, which it does, spoiler alert. But Fury is getting back up furiously. We'll see if he's got anything left, and he's gonna try to get something left on you. And,
he got me good here. He got me good.
Go to sleep. There you go. He's got to go to sleep, but you do find a way to get
slip
right
out.
Back up. Yep, and that's where his inexperience got him here in a chokehold, and boy, he's definitely gasping for air. And Crenson breaks it up. The veteran just go. The veteran there
really
certainly wants to stay alive. But how about those kicks of yours? Those kicks, boy, oof.
Oh,
some of the very best around the circuit, boy. I can't wait to see you and Ace Christian go toe to toe with that. But Mr. Crenson's obviously using his size, using his veteran abilities, but he's gonna go and slug you, and boy, you slugged him right back. You gave him a dose of his own medicine, and boy, there it goes. McEntee kick, McEntee kick. McEntee kick.
It's
Get him,
over.
cover him. 1, 2, 3. And Thomas McEntee, maybe with the biggest win of his career, biggest win of his career in the Palo Community Center, defeating the RCW champion Nicholas Crenson, a man that has won numerous championships, a man who has been a part of historical moments and you're just unbelievable moment and hard-fought victory as there comes. And obviously, redemption, revenge. It's vengeance. It's New Year's vengeance for Thomas McEntee. It is New Year's vengeance for him.
Oh yeah, New Year's vengeance for me. Yeah, because I wasn't gonna let them get away with this.
And you're not letting Nicholas Crenson go anywhere. And we're gonna put the volume up here because Nicholas Crenson, he's gonna be dealing with a few things here.
The ref.
Oh my God! Down goes Crenson! Down goes Crenson! And Crenson may not be holding that RCW title much longer. You know what he wants.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you threw the belt down at him. And then another McEntee kick. Down goes Crenson. Down goes Crenson.
That's what he gets. That's what he gets.
Yeah! What a historic victory here, defeating and pinning the RCW champion Nicholas Crenson and getting redemption on his old tag team partner, Tyler Fury. Boy, Tyler Fury might want to go back to the trampoline after that match, boy. But Crenson's holding the title. For how much longer, I don't know, and certainly Nolan Money McDermott is looking on. We're not going to go there. If you want to follow the IMF and watch more of the historic New Year's Vengeance show, go out there, do me a favor. Hit that sub button and like and follow and share all things related to the IMF. And what a big victory. Congratulations, Thomas McEntee, on that. And just an unbelievable moment, and it feels good. And Nicholas Crenson very well could be holding on to that RCW title just for a little while longer if you get your way.
It just sucks that he wasn't man enough to put the belt on the line that night. That's what I think.
Well, you know what? That's unfortunately it's not an IMF management issue. It's not their title. So
yeah, that's the sad part about it. I mean, don't worry, I'm not done with Crenson. Don't worry.
Well, you know what? We're certainly not done with this show tonight. We're certainly not done with some people here. We got a lot to talk about here. Let's get to the chat because I'm very anxious to talk about that historic match that we have coming up here on February the 22nd. Let's get to the chat here. The man that is here, a rare first, a first comment not known as Zilla, that is Sean Jovi, a man that obviously is in control of RCW, and he's watching this match, and obviously he's the one that ultimately could have some say in what's going on here. What's up, y'all? And yes, he did beat Zilla, and Zilla wasn't even nowhere near first. And I think I know who this person is. I think that it's Yurik the Viking, and he came off a big victory on his own right here, and he's here and just saying hello. And who knows what the future might be? We're seeing it's not imaginary. Yes, Yurik the Viking. It's Yurik the Viking. He's not playing Pokemon. He's not poking us. He's here. And there's Zilla. There we go. There is Zilla. And hello to Sean Jovi. Hello there. Omen Black, who I don't know if he's in Omen Black mode or just here or whatever, but he is the IMF World Champion, and he thinks he's seen you around at the IMF shows. Well,
I'm pretty sure I've seen him around too. I mean, like,
okay, that's good. Good news. Felix Jones. Well, guess what? Felix Jones wishes he didn't see Omen Black.
Oh, that's true. That's the truth.
And maybe Soldier GP's got different things going through his mind with that. I'm not going there. I'm not asking you House of Wolves, and I don't know if they call themselves Sinners and Foundation. I'm going to leave it to history coming up here in a few weeks. Yes, hello to Omen Black. Yes, we'll say hello. Let's go with Sean Jovi here. Got a comment relating to RCW. I believe this is 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to go with 4 p.m. in the asterisks. We've got here a brand new episode of RCW Ignition. And it's also going to air Thomas McEntee's match from New Year's Vengeance and some more stuff there. And you can follow some of that here. I'm going to actually put it up here on the Sean Jovi YouTube channel here, where you can watch all things related to RCW Ignition. In fact, I'm going to put the link up here for the chat. So if you want to check it out, I was on Jovi's vlog on Wednesday watching it. And if you'd like to check it out, all you have to do is go right there. I've actually put it up here for you. So you check it out. Jovi's vlog. Definitely got it going on. Check that out right there. Jovi returns to Sportswire Radio on his birthday, February 5th. Very excited about that. Nice. So we're going to go. Nice. Yep. Happy birthday. And by the way, happy birthday to you. I know your birthday was last week. I did wish you a happy birthday on Sportswire, but I want to wish you another happy birthday yet again. Definitely hope many more ahead. Definitely the best is yet to come. Jovi's YouTube channel is in the chat comments, so hit a sub button for him. He's closing in on 1,000 subs. We'd appreciate that. Zilla would like to say that I think the leader of the House of Wolves is Omen Black, and he's doing the right thing at IMF. Well, okay. Well, if you think so, you're certainly entitled to that. My buddy Ed Pizzo from Dooley is in the house. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going there tonight. I want to talk about the historic match, which I am really fired up for. We're going to spend probably a good 20, 30 minutes on that. Ed Pizzo, my buddy from Dooley, Dooley.com. I think from you're an IMF fan, you definitely know a little bit about this, so let's duel it. Hello to Ed. Ed was here in the chat earlier. I want to say hello to this beautiful young lady. Athena is here. She wanted to say hello. She seems to maybe be a fan of mine, but how you doing? She's an accomplished singer in her own right. She's done some podcasting, and she wanted to tune in. I hope she's enjoying the show. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. I'll put your YouTube link up here in a minute, but thank you for your nice words about me. Hopefully they still remain off the air, but let's come back here to some other things. Yep. Okay, Zilla opened up her eyes. I appreciate that. I thank you for that, I suppose. Now, this guy was my guest on Monday's show. Now, he wrestles in the same company as the man that you're going to wrestle in 28 days from now. That is Colton Lee, and he's now the Heartless Sheriff. He used to be Big Tex, but now he's the Heartless Sheriff, Colton Lee. And he would like to say, Thomas, take it from me. Going down the dark route and forgetting the fans will lead you to where you want to be. But judging from your last match, your win, you're with the fans all the way. The fans are behind you.
The fans are everything to me. You don't understand. That's the reason why I came to IMF. The reason why I came there was for the fans. It was for everybody there because that's who I appreciate. And that's about all I got to say about that.
But you know what? Colton is obviously a part of DBW, and he's going a different route, and he's got his reasons, and I think that they're very valid. And I would certainly, look forward to seeing what he does coming up in his company. But in the meantime, let's go off this. Let's get to some more comments. Yes, hello. And Omen once again wanted to say, you wrestle in the IMF. Is that true? It's a joke. It's a joke.
Man, let me think about that. Yeah, I think I wrestled in the IMF a couple times. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you definitely did. There's no question that you definitely did. We appreciate that very much. Yep. And if you want to follow the IMF, you can do that here. Let's see here. I think that, okay, I got the same comment. Thank you, Zilla. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ace Reed. Ace Reed, also from the formerly Wired Up podcast. He's the Wrestling Zero, BWDU, and the UPW champion. He's coming to America. The IMF might be one of those places, and he's also a fellow ace. Get it? You're wrestling ace, Christian. He's Ace Reed, and he's talked about coming to America, and maybe he comes to the IMF this summer. I don't know, but maybe he's scouting you, and he was just on the Backyard Wrestling Nexus's Breaking the Chain show, historic show. Definitely check it out. And Ace Reed is one of our favorites. Yep, hit the sub button for Sean Jovi. Definitely do that. Thank you, Ed. Yep. A very happy, I think belated birthday is the better word. Belated birthday is the better word. By the way, you got a great birthday gift because you pinned Nicholas Crenson. So not too bad of a birthday.
Yeah, it's a great gift. Yeah. Thank you, Zilla.
Now, it wasn't quite as easy when Anthony Steele beat him in Summer Bash, but it was still a victory.
Oh, yeah. Victory is victory. Yeah.
And, speaking of Anthony Steele, he's in your chair actually next Saturday night. He's here. He's in your chair next Saturday night. Yeah. He'll be here around 9:30. So Anthony Steele returns to Sportswire, and we'll be making sure though that we let him speak. But certain things we're gonna make sure because we have the big names coming here, so we want to make sure Anthony will be on as good behavior as possible. But yes, congratulations to Ace Reed. Colton would like to say that the fans will backstab you. Take my word on it. That's his advice. Some advice, wants to give you some advice.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you had some bad fan reactions and you can't take the heat, but I'm not giving up on them no matter what happens. So take my word on that.
Okay, I'm definitely taking your word for it. There's no question that I'm going to do that. And we appreciate all of that. So who else we got here in the chat? Yeah, but just as a reminder, this guy Rhino came on to Sportswire Radio. What a moment it was having Rhino and Savio Vega, and we had on Skrilla yesterday. If you're a fan of the old GBYWN and GWC Intensity, he was a star on there, and he just wrestled Lexus King. Just wrestled Colby Carino, beat Colby Carino, wrestled James Storm. He defeated James Storm. He was here on Sportswire Radio. Yeah, he's actually a candidate right now for the WWE ID program, and we just had him here. He wanted to be here. We had on this guy, Savio Vega. You probably heard of him, and he gave some much-needed advice, I think, for a lot of people. It was an honor to have him on here. No, he actually liked my introduction. He liked actually a lot of my things I had to say, and there it was. And Savio Vega was here. We had Stud Bronson here, James Fury. If you're a backyard wrestling fan, you definitely know him. So all great stuff. And thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the convo. And I have your YouTube link up, but it doesn't really have much on there. I mean, I would say I can put your Instagram page up. So check her out on Instagram. Let me give her an Instagram look. Give her a follow. If you're on Instagram, oh, there we go. Yep, I got you. I actually have her YouTube link up. Never mind. I got it here right now. Let me plug her YouTube. Here we go. Go like this. And boom, there we go. There's her YouTube channel. Check her out. She's got some music on there, some other stuff she's done. So give her a sub. We'd appreciate that. Support those who support us. And you'll be seeing some other music she's got coming out, some interviews. She had a really interesting career in podcasting and other things. So thank you, Athena, for tuning in. And go and give her a sub. Just me. She likes my mutton chops. So you can definitely, off that, you have to now give her a sub. But thank you for that. Yeah. Well, somebody better. But that's okay. Rhino and Savio Vega like them. So I'll take her, though, instead. But, yep, the fans will lead you nowhere, like Colton said. You never needed them. Of course, you claim you do it for them, and you're at a dead spot. Just imagine when you finally open your eyes and forget the fans. And that was what Ox McCoy was saying in his promo about his match with Nicholas Crenson and talking about Omen Black and leaving the foundation. And that's what Omen is basically saying to you.
Now, obviously, Omen doesn't understand what I'm all about. And he doesn't understand where I come from. You see, there was a time when I went down a dark path. There was a time I did, and I tried to stop myself every move, but it never worked. Why do you think I'm never going back to that? Because it led me down a terrible, terrible path, and I'm never ever going back to that. You can quote me on my last dying breath.
Okay, I got the point. Yeah, you're who you are, and you do you, as Anthony would say. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do. Anthony would always say, "I'm gonna do." Anthony's Anthony, but we're not going there. But he is saying further, imagine the potential, and he would also say that there's always openings. So if you do want to change your mind, there is obviously openings in the House of Wolves, and he would certainly like to just say that keep an open mind.
Let me think about that. No.
Well, okay, you know what? I got the point. I certainly got the picture. I don't know. That's up to Omen Black. We don't even know if he is the leader, but Zilla wants to be in the House of Wolves. I'm not going there because Anthony said a few things about Zilla, and we're not going there at this point. Oh, I got to say hello to Dakota. Dakota. Obviously, yep, she does so much for us in the IMF, and I see her in Jovi's vlogs all the time. Let me give her YouTube channel a big plug because she's closing in on a pretty cool milestone, 500 subscribers. She's actually 5 subscribers away. So do me a favor. If you're here in the chat, support those who support us. She's always watching us, whether she's working, not working, or wrestling in the ring, whatever it is. do me a favor, go give her a follow. She's 5 subs away. So if you want to give her a sub, I'd appreciate that. Let's support those who support us. So thank you, Dakota, for your support. And we appreciate that. Okay, so, yep, give a sub to Athena. Check her YouTube page out. Zilla, I never needed you then. You weren't my fan. I don't need you. Okay, we appreciate that very much. Omen, it's a trap. Don't go. So Dakota doesn't want you to go to the House of Wolves. Just saying. Also now, Sean Jovi wants Zilla to join the rock stars of the galaxy. Them wolves aren't to be trusted. We'll see. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Athena. Yes, I hope you still like my mutton chops. Really do hope so. Stay tuned. Yep, how you doing, Dakota? Thank you for that. Hit the sub button for her. There we go. That's good. Boom. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna talk to my boss about filming more matches for next month's show. Well, you know what? I think we know who your boss is, right? If it's that boss. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for subbing. And Dakota's one of your best friends, and you have a name, Thomas the Train. So you do have a name, Thomas the Train. You know, when I was a kid growing up in school, when I went to school in Brooklyn, there was this kid, Jude DaCosta. What a pain in my butt. Jude DaCosta. He'd always say Thomas the Tank Engine. That's what he'd always say. He was saying it like he was like a smart aleck. You know, he was he was a doofus, but that's what he always would say. Jude DaCosta. Jude DaCosta.
I got plenty of those kids back in the day in school and stuff like that. Trust me. Thomas the Train, Thomas the Tank.
I don't know if I beat him up. I don't remember what it was, but I did interview Rhino and Savio Vega. So, at the end of the day, I would like to say that we're here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and I have a lot more zeros to my name and my checking savings and other accounts than he does. So really? But there we go. Okay, I understand. Even though I finally opened up my eyes. Well, I hope you did. It's a great Alter Bridge song, by the way. Choo choo, mother effer. Yeah, well, you know what? Who got the last laugh? Who's fooling who? But you know what? I don't want to go there. I've got enough about that. It's not about me. It's about you, Thomas McEntee, because, I am excited to talk with you tonight, especially about this thing that was announced a couple of weeks ago here on this platform, as a matter of fact. And what a small world the wrestling world is, because, my buddy, Ace Christian, the Blaze Ace Christian, a guy I've known, he's come on my platform many times, a guy who's in my Hall of Fame, known him for a year and a half. And he talked about something that, like I compared to when Mike Awesome and Taz wrestled, the only time a WWF wrestler and a WCW wrestler wrestled in the same ring. They wrestled, and ironically enough, they wrestled in an ECW ring. But we had that magical moment happen in May of 2000, and we're getting that moment kind of coming up on February the 22nd in the Palo Community Center, because you, Thomas McEntee, you're an IMF wrestler, wrestling a DBW and a VTW wrestler in the Blaze Ace Christian, the VTW champion. It's a historic moment. We're going to get a chance to see it here in an IMF ring. And Thomas McEntee, for those that are listening and watching in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and the IMF most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio. Thomas McEntee, talk about what's to come February 22nd. We make history when it's going to be you and Ace Christian.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. When I started backyard wrestling a long time ago, I watched this unknown wrestler from way back. He used to be called the Blaze.
Yes.
He went through the
little kid. He was like a baby, right? He remember when he was like a baby, literally.
Yeah, he went through the ranks. DBW, and
yep.
I absolutely fell in love with him. I turned into, he was my idol, he was literally the small guy beating the big guys, and that's what it was like. That is how
Mr. Judgment, the Dawn's March, sure.
That is how I always seen myself, because I was never the biggest guy, and I always wanted to show that little guys got the same thing as the big guys do. It's just we have more skill and premise. But when I heard that IMF would confirm a match between me and Ace Christian, I was a bit shocked to begin with. And I was like, I am very glad to have this opportunity, because, it's going to be it's gonna be a great match. Me and him, we're gonna give it all we got. No bad blood between any of us. Like, I mean, I became really good friends with this guy. Like over past couple years. We've talked back and forth. This match was supposed to happen like about 4 years ago, to be completely honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, this is how long this match has been building, because obviously travel was an issue back then, and
COVID,
yeah, all that was an issue. But now that I got the opportunity in IMF, I'm glad it's at IMF, because now we're making history. We're breaking doors down, and I didn't even open my eyes to that until I seen the interview with Ace Christian the other time. How we're opening the door, the forbidden door.
Forbidden door. Yeah, I was like this whole like angst between the companies, especially DBW and the IMF, for a long period of time. It was like, I don't want to compare it to WWF and WCW those years ago, but it was like there was like this awkwardness because it hadn't happened before. It was something that, people never would have thought, all right, DBW guys wrestling IMF guys or vice versa. And to me, that's all water under the bridge now. That door, like you said, that forbidden door, it's forever broken down. And I really feel like this is just groundbreaking, and it's about time. And I'm glad that as a fan, and I'm going to put it out there, like you, I'm a fan of DBW. DBW's got an amazing history. DBW's got some unbelievable wrestlers. I mean, they come on here all the time. Silas Walker, Brandon Castelli, the DBW champion, Colton Lee, who's a part of DBW, Van Hansen, who was in DBW. Just unfortunately, his career has kind of hit the bricks at the moment. But, Austin James, who's wrestled in GTS. I mean, Chase Wakefield. I mean, everybody knows Chase Wakefield. Cyrus the It Factor. Mr. Judgment's been here. I mean, there's just so many great wrestlers in DBW. Just like I love IMF. I mean, everybody, the IMF is like family. And so to me, to have this moment, as a fan, I'm a fan of both companies. I just think it's an amazing accomplishment.
Oh, by far. Like, hearing the opportunity to fight a DBW wrestler with an IMF wrestler, at first, you think it's too good to be true, and it would never, ever, ever happen, and then you finally hear the confirmation from Ace Christian, and you're like, oh my God, is this real? Is this like, what's going on? And now you're hearing it from me, the opponent. You're hearing it from me, the IMF wrestler, that it's happening. It's going to happen, and it's going to be an amazing show all around the IMF and DBW audience, and even more people
the
now.
wrestling circuit, and I think here on this platform, it means so much because, DBW guys come on here all the time, right? IMF guys, I mean, we do so much with the IMF, and to have that opportunity. And I think that that's what wrestling's about. What I've learned in talking to some of the very greats that have ever stepped foot in the ring, in Rhino and Savio Vega, and this is what wrestling should be about. We're all on the same team. We're all basically doing the same thing. Wrestling's a brotherhood practically, or a sisterhood if you're here in the chat. And I really feel like that. To me, this is just only the beginning. And I think that it's about time. I'm wearing my Summer Bash shirt. And obviously that's where, a lot of the contention, comes from. But to me, it's all over. And really, when in the grand scheme of things, it's all minute. It's all little things that easily are now forever put in the rearview mirror. And it's a big deal. And, Thomas, I think you are the right person to have this match with Ace Christian because of your history, your knowledge of the backyard wrestling circuit. You've obviously been a podcaster like mine. For a brief moment, you certainly did have your own podcast. I don't know if you're going to be the guy that's going to, take over for me on Sportswire Radio. I'm sure Anthony would like to do it, but who knows? But the point is, I think you're the right guy. And I think that this is easily going to be, regardless of what you do with the RCW title, regardless of whatever you do, this is the biggest match of your career. This is really a match that I'm going to be straight up with you. DBW guys are going to be watching this one. Your IMF colleagues are going to be watching that. They're going to be watching it probably right from the apron. I mean, this is this match, I don't know where it'll be, and if it's the main event, I'll leave that up to the powers that be. But this match, this is the one, Thomas. They're gonna remember this one a long time from now, and you're on the brightest stage, kid, figuratively and literally.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it's overwhelming in a lot of respects because you go into there, you're fighting the person that you've idolized, like you're almost your whole backyard career, almost all that, and you're like, so this is gonna happen, and then you walk out there, you're gonna have the jitters like you always do when you're a wrestler, and who knows what's going to happen, like I don't even know, to be honest with you, in the IMF, I don't even know what the match type's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know, I don't know a lot of the details right now.
And the magnitude of it also, he's the VTW world champion.
Yeah.
So he's not just a guy coming here that's just a representative of DBW and VTW. He is the VTW world champion. VTW has a massive following. VTW is a company that has guys like Aaron Jones, Nikki Chooch, who was here, by the way. A slew of names that are some of the very best and very biggest. I mean, so this is a guy that's coming here, and he's not just some average Joe. He's definitely some guy that's got more than an average flow, and he's not just an average bro. I mean, not to quote, do some rhymes here. I know people might want to hear me do that, but the facts is that he's coming in here with a resume, and you better forget about those jitters. You better forget about that he's your idol, because he's a working independent wrestler now. So you better go out there. You better forget about those jitters, especially because, I know House of Wolves got talked about here for quite a bit, but all that stuff with Foundation, House of Wolves, Sinners, or whatever it is, you got the Switchblades and Diamonds, all that's going to be forgotten, because guys and IMF are going to be watching you. They're going to be watching your match specifically against Ace Christian. It's not going to matter anymore about Omen, Spur Soldier, Parsley, and Ox, and Steel, and Bright, all these other guys. No, they're watching you because you represent this company. Again, very similar to Mike Awesome versus Taz nearly a quarter century ago. This is what this is. So you better forget about those jitters. You better forget about your doubt. Let me give you some advice, because I'm the guy that's just spoken to Savio Vega, and I'm Rhino. I'm the guy that in the shoot world, I had the honor to work in the New York State Senate legislature. Very briefly, I helped in, I think it was 3 constituent cases. I helped people during Superstorm Sandy. I've had a career in politics, and my advice to you is, going into February 22nd, you have to forget about now that Ace Christian was your idol. You have to forget about that you looked up to Ace Christian, because now it's mano a mano. It's wrestler versus wrestler. And you now have to rise to the occasion to show that you're ready for this match, and you're here to represent not just the IMF, not just to represent what they have to offer, but also the entire wrestling community, because this is now a dream match, and this is the one that people are going to remember for a very long time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. When I hit that ring, there's no blood loss. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to wrestle. That's all that it is. Whenever I'm fighting, that's it. That's all it is. It's business, and I gotta do my part in making a statement and making a name for myself. So even if this is the biggest idol of my life, even if it is the biggest match of my career right now, or maybe ever, who knows, even if, I can't fall back on this one. I'm going to give it my all, just like I do every single time. That's how
No, absolutely. But this is just the ramifications of it. Even though you're right, you might not be the biggest match of your career, and I don't know what the future is, right? I can't predict. But in this moment, in this snapshot in time, it means something. It means something to a lot of people, really. And I think that this is why there's so much on the line. And I don't even think it's a matter of who wins or loses. Look, I don't know who's going to win or lose. I don't like to go into that. But in terms of how the match, the performance of it, yeah. I think that that matters to me more than anything else. And your match with Ace is going to, where everybody's going to look at every move. We're going to look at every single thing that happens out there because of just the ramifications. And what if even Thomas McEntee, somehow in some way, you get a shot at the RCW title and win that RCW World Championship? I don't know what the future is, but could you imagine, almost kind of like 25 years ago, when Mike Awesome and Taz wrestled, and it was the ECW World Championship on the line. A WCW wrestler was wrestling a WWF wrestler. Could you imagine, Thomas McEntee, if you are the RCW World Champion and the Blaze Ace Christian is the VTW World Champion? Could you imagine the significance of that in underground wrestling history? I hear guys all the time on these different podcasts, these different podcasters of late, talking about, the community, my community, the community. Well, you know what? The community is going to have a moment that's going to be remembered, at least in the underground wrestling community, for a real long time. Because if there was a way that you had that RCW World Championship and the Blaze Ace Christian was the VTW World Champion, just could you imagine that? Champion versus champion. What a moment that could be.
It's so hard to fathom. Like, if a moment like that happened, not only is it like a step up from like a match that's just normal, belt, sure, belt, no belts are really needed for this match. But if it happens, it's a whole new meaning. It's a whole new meaning to this whole thing we got going on.
Yep.
It's a statement. It's a statement. It's a statement to which company's better. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that obviously, to me, you think about it again, right? DBW, VTW, he's the VTW champion. Again, you have to get a match. That's up to management of RCW, really. Sean Jovi and Nicholas Crenson, who's here in the chat, he's the RCW champion, and he would obviously, have to lose the title to you. But just, even if there was that ramification, to think about that champion and champion in the ring. People always wondered, right, in the heyday, right, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, they always wondered, right, the NWA World Champion, the WWF World Champion. Yeah, we got Hogan and Flair, sort of, and they sort of wrestled, and when Flair had that stint in the WWF, but it wasn't what it should have been, right? They should have main evented WrestleMania. They should have had a true match, but they didn't. They had the match in WCW, but it was not what in the prime, really. So,
yeah.
But we could have that opportunity of you and Ace Christian and champion in a ring. I mean, I just think that's just, but if it's like you said, still the magnitude of you and Ace Christian in a match, I just think it's just an awesome thing. And I'm for one happy about it. I'm ecstatic. And I think you're the right guy, Thomas. I think you're the guy for the job. And I think you're going to have a hell of a match.
Oh, without a doubt. I have a feeling that once I get going, there's nothing going to stop me in that match. And when I do get going, Ace Christian, all, idol things aside, all friendship things aside, he better be ready because I'm coming in hot. I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. And it's just the little things, the little things about how I wrestle. No matter what I do, I throw 1,000 things at you at once in the ring. It's really weird because they don't know how to comprehend it half the time. When I'm in the ring with them, with like Felix Jones, when I was wrestling him, he never expected a big old McEntee kick to finish the job because that's the first time I've ever been there. That was a nobody move, and I finished him. I'm that guy that's always thinking because if I don't, then I'm always going to be the guy on the ground,
It's funny you said that, and we're here with Thomas McEntee, and of course, Thomas McEntee is wrestling Ace Christian coming up February the 22nd. I will get to some really special people in the chat in a few minutes. There's Skrilla, the legendary Skrilla, a man that has done so much for our community. And I want to give Skrilla a big shout out in a minute. But Thomas McEntee is wrestling Ace Christian here. Come up. Ace said something about that. This is the first time he's flying. What do you think about that? When he said it was the first time he was flying, he's never been on a plane. This is the first time he's flying. What did you think about that?
I think it's an incredible thing, because for a career of his magnitude, eventually he's gonna be flying all over the place. I guarantee it. And now he's got to get used to it. But don't get me wrong. One of these months, one of these years, doesn't matter. I'm planning on going down to DBW. And it's gonna be a crazy thing, but that's in the future. I'm going to show what I got in DBW.
Oh, you know what an amazing thing that would be. And Skrilla, since he's here, and very, very honored to have Skrilla here. And Skrilla, of course, a man that he defeated Colby Carino not too long ago. And also, he's a protege of course, the legendary Copper Dragon. And people know how much Copper Dragon means to me on this platform. And Mr. Hardcore and Vega the Kid Storm and Andre and Amelie and all those greats. But Skrilla's on Instagram. Do me a favor. Please hit a sub button for Skrilla. Skrilla, I really believe, for those that don't know, he is the perfect candidate for the WWE ID program. And I would also recommend to hit a sub button for him. YouTube, it's the same link. Instagram, give him a follow. Facebook, give him a follow. Also, Skrilla wrestled Lexus King. How about that? Speaking of guys that have made history, he wrestles Lexus King, right? Who's the NXT Heritage Cup champion. He wrestles him in a non-WWE ring. I mean, an amazing thing in itself. WWE wrestlers almost only wrestle in WWE rings, but yet Skrilla wrestles Lexus King in a non-WWE ring. And also, he's wrestled, by the way, Skrilla, this guy James Storm, and beat him, by the way. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. With us, the legend. So Skrilla will give you some advice, I'm sure, undoubtedly. But, it's the biggest match of your career. We'll spend a few more minutes on it. And, I mean, talk to me about what would you say to Ace Christian? What would be your final words to Ace Christian?
To Ace Christian, well, obviously, I respect everything that man does. I mean, obviously, he's made some iffy choices, with like joining his father in the dark sides of everywhere. He made bad choices.
Oh, now they're actually on opposite sides right now, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but back in the day, he made bad choices. So obviously, I'm gonna remember that. But other than that, I have all the respect in the world for that man, and we're gonna put on a hell of a match for everybody to see. And there's no tension, there's no heat. I don't want any heat, I mean,
no. I mean, Ace was like, I just want to go out and wrestle. That was pretty much what he said here. It's like, I'm here to wrestle a match. And I think that's awesome. I don't think there should be any hostility. You should go out there, and I think it's a cool moment just for everybody to be a part of. I just feel like as a fan that it's an awesome thing. And I just, want to congratulate both guys. I want to congratulate the companies, especially DBW and IMF, VTW as well. And I really think there's going to be more of it ahead. I mean, Nikki Chooch was here and guys were enjoying him on here. And I mean, Colton Lee talked about it on Monday, and, guys are really, I think they're excited about it. Yeah. And Skrilla said, you can always, I'll give you Skrilla's information. I'll give Skrilla's information
definitely.
to anybody. Definitely. Skrilla is a legend. It was Skrilla Day the other day, by the way. As a matter of fact, I should put it up on the screen. It was actually Skrilla Day for the audience. Skrilla will love this.
Oh, wow.
We made it Skrilla Day. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you a day, but let me get to some comments. Did you mention that you get the riptide in the ring from Coda? What happened there? Talk about that for the audience. What happened?
Well, you see, I was warming up in the ring, and I was getting myself ready for the match against Crensit and Tyler. She snuck up behind me and she nailed me on the back and set me up for riptide and nailed me in the center of the ring with a riptide. It was absolutely hilarious. And I got up. It hurt. She's good. She's strong. But I
think she's getting, she's talked about a women's division in the IMF. And I'm going to just say Rhea Ripley better watch out because she's going to give us all the riptide.
But I will say this. I'm really proud of Dakota. I've seen her, improve and improve and improve, because I've also been a part of the trainings and all that stuff that goes involved into getting into the ring and getting down in the business, and I'm really happy for her. She's making a big impact on herself and on the people there at IMF. I'm very happy for her.
Yep, I think that's well said. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, I don't know why Zilla's coming up about the House of Wolves. We're here with Thomas McEntee. Athena here, the lovely Athena, said that she and Dakota should do a haunted place segment. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know how you guys would figure that out, but yeah, that would be definitely funny. I'd definitely be down with that. Dakota would have been here sooner. Well, she's here now, so we're all good.
You're playing Minecraft.
Well, it's either Fortnite or Minecraft. Nicholas Crenson, as I said, is here. And he said he'll be waiting. He'll be waiting. And
that guy's trying so hard to get into my head. It's not even funny. And
well, you know what? You're the one in his head.
The funniest thing about it is he doesn't want to be in this head. There's a lot of things going on. But if he dares to go into that space of mind, he's not going to like what he finds.
Well, stay tuned. Dakota and Nicholas say hello to each other. The IMF is here, and if you're here, hit the sub button for the IMF at IMF Wrestling, and you can be a rock star on the Rock Star of the Galaxy. And Zilla doesn't want to be a rock star of the Galaxy. That's not good. Yep, I'll send out Skrilla's info to some of the people. Who else we got here? She's sorry she hurt your back and hopes you're okay.
Oh, I'm good. I made a full recovery. I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll certainly find out. And, also, okay. Yes, focus on yourself. I don't know how this comes up here in the discussion, but we appreciate you, Zilla, coming in here. But, all right, before I get to closing thoughts or anything else, you have anything else you want to say about the match or anything in general? I think RCW, stay tuned about that. You and Crenson, maybe. But the 22nd King of Palo is coming up as well. I know that'll be something interesting. Maybe you want to enter that, but is there anything else you want to bring up here before we get to the final thoughts and such?
Nothing much other than Crenson, watch your back. And Ace Christian, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. I'm ready to show the world what we got and what it means to collaborate with the underground wrestling world.
Good. Love hearing that. And that's what I'm about, collaboration. I think that's why I'm so, excited about that, because of the fact that I think it's just going to open the door. We're going to see more of this, people are fans and wrestlers. And I really feel like when wrestlers meet each other, if there was any issues, it's all going to end. It's going to be forgotten. It's going to be dropped, because people are going to see Ace. They're going to see what an incredible talent he is. What an incredible young man. He's a God-fearing young man. He's a very hard worker. He's come a long way. He's just graduated high school, and he's now an independent wrestler, got his own car, and he's doing really well in life. Look at how far you've come. Look at your last, several months. Look at your big victory over Crenson. I mean, the work you've put in under the tutelage of the legendary Levi McDaniel, one of the greatest to have ever stepped foot on this platform, a man that, he has been a mentor to so many in our sport. We owe such a great debt of gratitude to Levi McDaniel. I want to put that out there. We love Levi on this platform. And speaking of people here, Soldier GP, a man that is probably, again, and the IMF locker room is going to be rooting for you here. To be honest, they're all going to be rooting for you to have a great match. I think this House of Wolves and the stuff that's going on storyline-wise, I think it's all forgotten because of this match. And I'm going to compare it again to Mike Awesome and Taz. That's just, to me, what it reminds me of, not in the hostility, but just in that, that moment, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, I completely understand. It's a big moment. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are going to be watching, like, around the wrestling world. They're going to be watching because it's a very impactful moment. I believe it's like up there, with the
so do I. You know what? I really think, like, I'm doing this 6 years. Today is my 6-year anniversary and doing this, like, in terms of, like, covering, underground wrestling, independent wrestling. I don't even count this as the backyard. This is like one of those like watershed moments. I think it's right up there with Summer Bash. I think it's right up there with Riot in the Ring. You know, we spoke about earlier tonight the Riot in the Ring too. Soldier, big shout out to shout outs to Soldier and Ox McCoy. They're going to be in the Riot in the Ring too. And you know, we think about the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament, Jovi, RCW. I think it's going to be like right up there in those super shows. That it's the same thing because we're getting two guys to wrestle that represent companies that haven't collaborated, you know, that have not collaborated. I think it's awesome. It's to me similar to what D'Angelo LaFlame last year did. D'Angelo LaFlame goes and shows up in the Riot in the Ring himself. D'Angelo LaFlame shows up at Summer Bash. D'Angelo LaFlame goes to Shocky's house party. He goes to all these places. And I think you and Ace is right up there in that. And I think that it's, you know, and Soldiers, like I figured, said you better win. And I think there are going to be people, though, that are going to want you to win this. But it's true, though. You're going there, and IMF guys aren't going to want to see you lose and fall flat on your face because it's going to certainly be said and it's going to be felt all around the circuit that Thomas McEntee loses to Ace Christian in his home building. It's in your home building, too.
Soldier, I just got to tell you, I promise I will not let you down. This is IMF. You know, I will not let you down.
Well, you know, we better find out. I tell you what, we're going to find out. And I'm going to pass the baton to you. Obviously, it's been a very exciting show here with you. I want to put your Instagram page because I think you're just back on Instagram now. So I want to do that for the chat. So if you're here for the first time, you want to connect with Thomas McEntee, absolutely give him a follow on Instagram. He's put some stuff up there. He's, you know, obviously got him in the ring. He's got some cool stuff there. I liked one of his posts from a while ago, though, but do check him out. He's definitely in there. JoJo Jackson, obviously. There's, Jovi there.
One of the funnest matches I've had so far was JoJo.
Well, you know what? JoJo's another up-and-comer. JoJo's definitely he found the hard way, though, that the Express don't play around. But, JoJo wrestled Prince of Cheetah. Definitely, he's, certainly an up-and-comer. And, he's doing a great job. Everybody in the IMF is doing a great job. I can't stress enough love what the IMF has done. And they've been so gracious to us. And, we want everybody to please support. And that's what I'm about. I just want to say before we get to closing thoughts, I'm about supporting everybody. And, I say it all the time when this is that moment. And like I said, I really believe that, we wouldn't have had Rhino and Savio Vega come on here if it wasn't for the support of the people, the wrestlers that come on here, the companies, the fans, and, to have also James Fury, Stud Bronson, Skrilla here. Those are opportunities because of people. So everybody should support each other. And I'm happy that this collaboration is happening. I want to pass the baton to you. If you have any closing thoughts, take it away.
Well, like I said, when it comes to February, there ain't going to be any holding back. And when I go against Ace Christian, there's going to be two things on my mind. Number one, the fans. Always the fans, number one. Number two, that's getting the win for IMF. Those are the two thoughts in my brain that entire match. Well, and never giving up, of course. But there's those three there. But, and then as for Crenson, I know you're watching.
Oh, he is.
And I know that you are prepared to duke it out with me soon. And don't worry, it'll be soon. But when that comes to it, you better make sure you're ready to put that belt on the line, Crenson.
Ooh, well, you know what? Nicholas Crenson's definitely a man watching this. He always has a lot to say. He's the devil, and the devil himself is always certainly working, and he definitely doesn't have idle time, and it's never idle minds with Nicholas Crenson, and we'll certainly have to see. And also, the next RCW Ignition episode is coming out this Monday. I believe it's 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, so check that out. If you want to follow Thomas McEntee's YouTube channel, hit a sub button for him. He's got some of his old stuff there, and he's even done some podcasts. He's done a few of them. They're on Spotify. You want to check them out, you can. Maybe he'll replace me on Sportswire Radio after all. He'll defeat Ace Christian and interview himself after the win. Who knows? And also, Dakota said, you better win, or I'm going to give you another rip. See, I told you that locker room is going to really be on you.
Oh,
They're rooting for you, and and Zilla. Yeah, I don't know why Zilla won't join the IMF. I'm going to leave that at that. And yeah, Athena and Dakota should definitely collab. I'd definitely be down for that. And also, Crenson versus Thomas McEntee, RCW Championship, St. Patty's Day Massacre, maybe. So, maybe
no.
that could be something to happen. So maybe management can step in,
All
and
right. All
maybe
right.
that's where you could get that title shot at.
Oh, if I get the title shot, things are gonna be going my way, Crenson, my way.
Ooh, that was a Limp Bizkit song from was it WrestleMania 17?
Yeah.
But but definitely, could we be going my way? Well, it could be my way or the highway, certainly. But Thomas McEntee, what a roaring return it was tonight on Sportswire Radio for him for the first time in over 5 months, and he is coming off his successful victory at the historic New Year's Vengeance show against RCW champion Nicholas Crenson, where he pinned the champion, and also Tyler Fury, his former tag team partner, getting certainly a little bit of revenge and vengeance, you might want to say. And of course, February 22nd, we're going to have full coverage from it throughout the next few weeks, and certainly Thursday, February 20th, we're all here. The gang is all here for the full IMF pre-show coverage, but it is certainly King of Palo Community Center, Thomas McEntee and the Blaze Ace Christian, a match that is a long time in the making. DBW, VTW versus IMF. You're getting it here. It's a watershed historic moment for us, and Thomas McEntee is a part of that historic thing, and I can't wait to talk about it here. Also, this coming Saturday, the following Saturday, Anthony Steele is back on Sports Radio, and boy, he's going to have something to say, and we got plenty of coverage here. So, yeah, he's always got something to say. He'll be here next Saturday. Yeah, he always does, But you know what? Some people like that. People do like that, and he's always got something to say, and Zilla will be tuned into that. But that'll be 9:30 next Saturday. And I'll be here tomorrow with Anton Nathan, pro wrestler from Pennsylvania. Plus, I'll have a surprise or two coming up here Sunday or Monday. Stay tuned for more big names coming. But, management will talk to RC. I think at 30 here. Shout out to Dirty. We love Dirty. Yeah, you know what time it is. But he'll talk to management. And
all right.
Soldier, I don't know. I think people would want Zilla at the Palo Community Center. I'm not sure why she thinks that, but I mean, I don't know. I'll leave that at that. I like having Zilla on Sportswire, and I'm sure the IMF would love to have Zilla show up to a show, and because the house, that's not all of IMF. Yeah, I think Zilla's got to just talk to Zilla. Why don't you talk to Soldier off the air? Or talk to the owner of the IMF, and I'm sure that they'd love to have you and be a fan of your shows and your show, Zilla, that you show up to, and they'll be a fan of yours. Let's make peace. Let's make peace. I want peace in this world, and Thomas McEntee's doing a great job. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for making it a great last couple of weeks. And what a great night. Joe Starr and Tyson Spade have this just all-out war, figuratively and literally, they had earlier today. And then Thomas McEntee talks about his historic with Nicholas Crenson and also his match coming up with Blaze Ace Christian, the Blaze himself. Just what an unbelievable night. Yes, thank you, Dakota. Yep, cheers for everybody. We love IMF. Buy some IMF merchandise. IMF Wrestling. Go to the Facebook page. Get the link. Go out there, buy a shirt. I'm buying my shirt this week. Can't wait to wear it. Can't wait to wear it for February 20th. And I'm wearing an IMF wrestling shirt so I can just be right down the middle. I want just an IMF wrestling shirt. So I'm going to buy that so we keep everybody happy. But until then, I love having the IMF, so let's keep everybody happy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Oh, and another one. Global reaction to Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll see everybody.